The Nature of Imitation is the debut release on Brainfeeder Records. Dorian Concept is an Austrian composer, electronic producer who has been in the game for a few years now. I've only just stumbled upon his work on this latest release of his because, of course, it's on Brainfeeder Records, a record label that is known for putting out some pretty eclectic and forward-thinking electronic music over the years. And you can certainly tell it's from Brainfeeder Records too. It's got a really odd sort of jazzy, funky fusion of sounds and weird moments that make your ears like perk up in a way that you wouldn't usually get from any old electronic producer. There are some softer piano embellishments on a lot of the tracks, so that makes me think I am just listening to any old producer putting forth some ambient material that it's fine, but honestly flies by quite easily a lot of the time. There's so many sections of this album where I'm just like, oh shit, like I've lost concentration, and then it's like 3 or 4 tracks later and nothing's really happened. This particularly happens in the first little bit of the album. There's this just dry spell of very little going on for me, which wasn't something I minded too much when I was just sat on the train and sort of like, you know, taking the music in and just looking outside, you know, watching things go by. But then when it came to actually fully listening to this album, it was quite hard to kind of capture anything from it that was remotely exciting. That is certainly not the whole album though. I mean, there are some amazing moments of just strange and odd, eccentric sensibilities that I absolutely love. The ideas on this album are pretty sick, to be honest, for the most part, like especially on the more upbeat tracks like Not Time, Not Mine, which just has this really strange groove to it, but I really like it. It's a pretty boppy sounding song, just really odd instruments that come together, and it's really cool how he combines these weird moments and it ends up being really interesting to listen to. It's this really funky section in the track as well where it's like bow 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 bow. It just makes me think that this guy has a lot of cool ideas that could definitely be used very well in the future if he continues delving into this further. I mean, the opening track is a bit of a weird experiment to me. I think it sounds quite shoddy, to be honest. I think there is just so much going on, and there's some vocals that have been incorporated into the mix as well, and it just all sounds so messy. That's the other thing with this album too, like there are some clunky moments that just like make you kinda like like that's the response that you often give, but like the ideas are all there, and the fact that he's pushing forward some cool sounds is enough for me to at least be interested. And the opening track is just one occurrence where the vocal mixing is just really off, but on tracks like Pedestrians, he actually manages to turn the vocals into an instrument, and it becomes like a beat for the song, and I just think that's a really clever thing to do, and that's what I mean when I say the ideas are just there, they're brimming, they're all on the surface just like bubbling, but it's not always something that works out well. But that's something that you've got to kind of work on as an electronic musician, because you know you're going to push forward different ideas every so often, and not everything comes together, but you know, for the most part I think this album does a good job of trying things. There are more hand clappy type clicky beats on the track E13, which is sort of a rehash of what he'd already done previous in the album, but I must say whenever these moments pop up, it is the most exciting part of the album to me, so I can't really say too much bad about that for the most part. And to be honest, most artists on the Brainfeeder label do play towards the more wonky type stuff, and I wouldn't say Dorian Concept's just following the crowd, to be honest. He's definitely in his own lane, trying different things here. There are some elements that did feel quite wonky influenced, but it wasn't full on in your face type stuff. So yeah man, I think if he just continues mixing all these different sounds together, he's gonna come out with something pretty fantastic at some point. But this album though, I do like it, and I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts on this if you've heard it. I'm sure if you're an electronic fan you will check this out. I recommend it if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Have a good day. Tell me what I should review next. Tell me how I should be stroking my beard. Is this okay? And have a good day.